Greetings, YouTube. Welcome back to another Nerd Report. And we got a kind of a funny one. Funny and yet sad at the same time. How can you say this? It's just not your day, AT&T. But before we get into the story, please subscribe to the channel, hit like, and also stay for the story. So, why is it not AT&T's day? So, our dear president rips into AT&T servers weeks after Trump Mobile license deal announced. So, if you kind of follow the news, Donald Trump and the Trump organization started to do their own cell phone and MVNO. Then, after signing these deals, because their service is going to end up using all three carriers, kind of like U.S. Mobile, from what I can tell. Well, after they've already signed the deals, got the paperwork done and different things, dear Donald Trump rips into AT&T because he had difficulties using AT&T services inside of the White House. Now, the cellular side and the landline side are normally independent of each other. They provide services from one to another, but they act independently of each other underneath the umbrella of AT&T. But this is kind of where, it doesn't kind of matter, because apparently the one hand doesn't know what the other hand was doing in the eyes of our dear president. So I guess inside of this article from CNBC, they were trying to do a conference call with a group of people, and the conference call must have failed because Donald wasn't able to get a hold of or successfully get the conference call to happen the way that he wanted it to happen. Now, as a person who talks about tech, understands tech, been on service calls before and dealing with customers because of said service, also talking to other technicians who have to do service calls for customers, this one might have been more of a user error than it was an AT&T service. But in the land of the internet, that doesn't matter, because AT&T stock price took a nosedive after Donald tweeted at his Truth Social platform, and Twitter went at AT&T. Wasn't a good sight. So you can go on AT&T on Twitter/X and pretty much get a good idea about how in that space, how the president's words can really hurt any company. But AT&T seems to be the point of ire by our dear president. Kind of funny, but kind of sad at the same time. I'm not a big cheerleader of AT&T, but I feel very, very sad for them in a funny way. Hard to really not laugh, but you can also understand that from a technician point of view, they got blamed for probably a user error fail on the president's staff and the president's end, and not able to connect to these people probably using their cell phone. Which, don't you find that kind of weird? You're in the most secure, technological, crazy spot on the planet, and you can't you're doing a conference call on a cell phone? User error. That's kind of how I look at it. But AT&T really took a bad hit to the face when it came to the president really going at him in a tweet. And I feel bad, but I don't feel bad, because that happens to any technician. You can name it. I've done service before. Different other people have done services. Communication, so service calls happen. Everything can happen on the user end, and you technically just get blamed for it. That's just how it is. Customer service call goes out. In this case, the tweet went out and the internet had a field day. But read the article. I'm gonna leave the link in the description below. Do you think that AT&T was warranted for this problem, or was it more of a user error when it came to said president using AT&T services? So I'm gonna leave that up to the internet to decide, but pretty much Twitter had already made their mind up. AT&T sucks. But don't take my word for it. Take a look at it on Twitter and True Social if that's one of your social media accounts of choice. But the read is crazy on Twitter. The read of it and the timeline is crazy. But thank y'all for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment below. Let me know how you might think about this problem. Do you think that AT&T might have got the poo end of the stick, would you say, on this exchange? Or do you think they're warranted and AT&T services are actually that bad? Thank y'all for watching, and y'all have a good one.